Hello. Hello. Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rae Harvie, and I'm doing my third speech for my public speaking class. It's the informative one, and I'll be doing it over sound systems. Specifically, I'm just going to be talking about like the speakers and the actual like soundboard if you're to do a live performance of some kind, and then kind of talk about what's even coming out in this industry, and I will be hitting on like a more home theater type idea. So, as I mentioned, I'm doing sound systems. So that's a really good introduction. So, good place to start is the sub because it's pretty well known. It's not just, when I say the sub, I mean even though it is short for the subwoofer, I'm not just talking about those guys who drive up next to you with their, when you can feel the car move at a stoplight. Not just that, there are some good ones. Like in any given musical or movie or theatrical setting, you want that thrilling moment. You want to be able to hear that low part, and you can take that all to the subwoofer. Just as a note, I will be calling it the sub from now on, because that's what it's commonly known as. So if you ever feel like you feel the music or you want to clap along, you can take that to the subwoofer, because that is what it does. It's always pretty uplifting with that. So if all that low stuff comes through that subwoofer, where does everything else go? It goes through the mains. Little picture right there. Usually in a typical scenario, you would have about two or more. Those are the ones that kind of just multiply. The mains carry everything else, pretty much everything that you would think about. They do carry a little bit of that sub part, but really it's pretty much just sub and mains right here. But again, that can totally change based on what type of speakers you get, but typically. Next, you're going to have the monitors, which this is a very old monitor. It's a couple years old. Typically nowadays, people will only have the in-ears, which are exactly what they sound like. They're in-ears, kind of like a headphone. Some people use headphones, and it just helps those performing in a live performance to be able to hear what they're even doing at that moment. So that's always very, very unfortunate, because otherwise they'd be lost, and so would you, because you wouldn't like music. So after you have the whole speakers, and you can figure out which one's which, and you follow the chords, where does it go from there? Does it just stop and somehow end up into your ears? No, it goes through a middleman pretty much. So all those instruments and everything will come into the soundboard, and soundboard will actually put it into those speakers. Well, the best way to make it sound good is an EQ. What does an EQ mean? That means an equalizer, which is exactly what it sounds like. It tries to make your voice from going from kind of hollow and echoey and sound like you're in some far off place to actually like, oh, someone's actually talking. There's an actual real person. And that's important. That's the importance about the EQ. And then you have the volumes, which is pretty self-explanatory to the point where everything will have a different volume and be different, will be loud or soft. But a little more to it, as you can see, there are multiple different, what people will call channels, which will be directly, this one channel will control this one vocal, this one guitar. Well, if you're having a guitar solo, you would want the guitar to be louder than everything else. So what you're going to do, you're going to bump that one volume, boosting it up in the whole system. So it goes a little bit more than just the speakers. So, and next you have the personnel. The personnel are typically called the sound technicians. That's the scientific full name, I guess. But although you could add a lot of other things to the soundboard, it pretty much wouldn't go anywhere without a person actually working it. And a lot of the other points about a soundboard are so minor and so complex that it really would not make a very good point, because then I would have to go into what it means. So understand you wouldn't be able to hear everything you can without somebody actually being there. Next, to finish off this speech, we're going to be talking about some of the new systems coming out, focusing on new speakers, a new soundboard, and then a new home audio system. So this one is the XPRS series. Now each of these speakers is going to have an XPRS and then followed by a number. The numbers vary based on which speaker, giving it an exact name, but nobody can really remember that. So it is a dual subwoofer, so it has two of those subs, which will pack quite the power into your musical performance or theatrical. This is actually for a working DJ, so it is all about the music for them. So that's why they're also priced at 3,000 euros, which if you're anything like me, then you don't know what that means because you're American. That's $3,305.48 as of October 17th, 2016, because that changes all the time. There are multiple different EQing and all that type of stuff, and you can thank that whole series thanks to the Pioneer Pros Audio, because they were the ones who created it. Next is the new soundboard. It's the QU24, specifically this one. This one also does come in a 16 and a 32, so 24 is just kind of the middle guy. As you can see, it's pretty much like a line, and then you kind of barricade it, and it's all empty space, which is a new concept in the newer soundboards that are coming out. This has, when it's a 24, that means there's 24 channels, but only 4 of those are used for the monitors. So you basically get 20 channels in that, and that's pretty medium size. And this one also has an iPod, an iPad, and iPhone apps that you can connect to this soundboard and control it. Alright, to finish up, we're going to go into this new home audio. Like I said, we're going to hit the home part 2. It's not all just going to be live or movie stuff. This is the Audio Engine A2 Plus. It is specifically for a home. Based on the reading I did of it, it's geared towards the computer side, so like a laptop or a desktop. But honestly, you could kind of bring it into whatever scenario at home you wanted to. These are at a much cheaper price than that $3,305 with 48 cents, at $249 American dollars, which is pretty decent given all the things that you are given in it. Alright, and so that will conclude this speech. And so now it'll also help you know kind of what all kind of goes into you being able to hear the music. So you see them playing, where does that go? It goes down the chords and through the soundboard and out the speakers. And now you have a pretty good idea, or at least some basic idea, of what actually that all entails. To finish, that is my works cited of all the pictures and the information I used. I'm still here.